The local index and rand are firmer so far this morning. The JSE was slightly muted for the day most of yesterday, but still ended the day more than 0.5% higher, taking its cue from Tesla, which gained more than 13%. We're now joined by independent analyst Mbuso Zulu. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, please give us an overview of how the markets are faring so far today.
Morning, Masachaba, and to the Newzroom Afrika viewers. The markets are slightly up this morning, and the rand has also strengthened slightly, as you said a little bit earlier. This is encouraging, but you still have just a risk-off environment with the higher interest rates for longer scenario still playing out, and the geopolitical risks as well that are an overhang to just strengthening rand with what's going on in the Middle East, as well as the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. So it still is a risk-off environment, but it is good to see the rand strengthening slightly. The JSE is also slightly up, and most of that is being driven by the M&A activity or the announcement that Anglo American is looking to be taken over by BHP Billiton. So Anglo's is up nicely by around about 16% this morning, and BHP is down slightly by about 4% so far.
And Clicks has posted its results and dividend declaration for the 6 months that ended in February. Talk us through that performance.
Yeah, Clicks is a really good, steady Eddie kind of stock. They deliver and execute very well on their stated objectives. They've been driving convenience by opening more stores closer to where consumers reside, and just having a really strong offering on private label. So for the results for this period, turnover is up by 9%, and that's been driven pretty much by the retail business, which is the Clicks Group, with your personal care and beauty products that are there. And the dividend that they've declared is up by 13.5%. So if you also just look at the other division that they have, distribution, that's been slightly up in turnover terms, but it has been helped by the SEP, which is the single exit price that has been favorable for them, especially for those medicines that they do have in their pharmacies.
London-listed miner Anglo American has received an all-share buyout proposal from BHP Group, a deal that could create the world's biggest copper miner. So give us an overview of the specs of this deal.
This is quite exciting news. You haven't seen large-scale M&A activity in this sector for quite some time. So it would, if it was to be successful, create the largest copper mining producer. Together, they would account for about 10% of the global supply of copper. So BHP has made an all-share offer to Anglo American at about 28% higher than where the shares closed yesterday at 514 Rand. But it is also conditional on Anglo's unbundling Kumba Iron Ore as well as Anglo Platinum. Those subsidiaries that they own, they would need to divest of those so that what then BHP would be purchasing would then make sense for them, especially just the combination of minerals, as I said, the copper. And you've seen BHP Billiton clean up its portfolio, divesting some of the assets that they do not see as having a good future, and then looking to invest in this new energy resources, metals such as copper. It is not a non-binding offer. It is still, they have until the 22nd of May 2024 to come to Anglo's with a firm offer. Or then if they have decided to walk away, then they have to state that by the 22nd of May. So currently the company, Anglo's, is in play, but they are still waiting for BHP to come through with a firm offer. And you see that the market is liking that with the share price moves that you are seeing so far, with Anglo's being up 16%, as I said earlier. market is giving a reasonable probability that this deal could happen. But of course, there will be Competition Commission thresholds and hurdles that they would need to overcome in order for it to come to fruition.
Lastly, Mbuso, retrenchments at the South African Post Office have been temporarily halted following an application to the Temporary Employment Relief Scheme. So help us make sense of those developments. If the funds come through, does that mean no retrenchments?
Not necessarily. So you're looking at 4,700 employees of the post office that would qualify for the scheme. How it will work is that TERS will pay 75% of the employees' salaries, and then the post office would pay the remaining 25%. However, it would be for a maximum period of 12 months. So it's a temporary relief. It does not mean that the retrenchments are off the table. And so the 4,700 employees that are at the C level of employment are the ones that would qualify. Employees at the higher grades have already been given their retrenchment letters, and they would not qualify for this arrangement. And then they would continue with the retrenchment process and be able to apply then for new roles as those new roles become available at the post office and the restructure is implemented or complete. So unfortunately, it's not, but it does provide just slight relief for the next year.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mbuso. We appreciate it very much.